You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football and Turkish Super League podcast. My name is Ahmet Turgut, and welcome to this edition of Turkish Football Podcast. Next 15 minutes, I'll talk about what happened in the Week 25 and the Derby match, and we'll recap it for you who advanced to Turkish Cup Quarterfinals, and we'll preview the weekend coming up starting on Saturday in the Week 26. So we have a lot to cover. Let's get to it right away with the recapping what happened in the Week 25. Basically, it was the biggest news this past couple days after the Derby match played on Monday. Yes, the Derby match. There's never a dull moment in Turkish Super League. As you probably heard it from all over the foreign media and Turkish media, there was controversy, but there was not a good football. High anticipated match between Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe went down scoreless. 0-0, 0-0. Until 89th minute, the home team, even with the 12th man behind them, only had one shot on the goal. As I said in this podcast many times, starting in the beginning of January, when the second half of the Turkish Super League started, I've been saying this. Galatasaray is not playing the way that they used to play. With all the big-name superstars, it is something not clicking with Galatasaray. We saw this in the Derby match. We saw this in the Turkish Cup match against Konyaspor this just past Thursday. Galatasaray not playing the soccer football they played in the beginning of the season. And things are not going right for Galatasaray. Even though Galatasaray is on top of the Turkish Super League with 6 points and Fenerbahçe follows them, they are still undefeated. But as we go into the last 12 weekends in the Turkish Super League, the way that we see right now, Galatasaray, that gap might be closed later on, because I'm going to get to the schedule later on, but I don't want to talk about Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe Derby match in this podcast for 15 minutes. So Week 25, I think also we need to talk about, besides the top two teams that chasing the title, I think there's a gap right now. The teams who was chasing the third place after Samsunspor went down this past weekend. Beşiktaş winning their match. Beşiktaş right in the fourth place, and they surpassed Eyüpspor and Beşiktaş with 41 points and Samsunspor with 46 points. So there is a competition for third place between Samsunspor, Beşiktaş, and Eyüpspor. Top five looks like that right now. And ever since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came to scene for Beşiktaş as a coach, he's doing wonder things. I think his special touch with the players and helped Beşiktaş so far. But what will happen in the end of the season, we'll see. But right now, they're on the right track. Also, we recap what happened in the Week 25. The bottom of the barrel relegation zone, teams like Bodrumspor and Kayserispor are making a comeback. They are winning their matches. So they have a chance to get out of their group, the relegation zone. If they need to get out of there, they need to win their matches. But one thing, between the 17th place team, Bodrumspor, and 7th place team, Başakşehir, there's only 10-point gap there. So this includes Trabzonspor, too. They have 32 points. In the last 12 matches in the Turkish Super League, if these teams with 29 points, if they don't win their matches, and Bodrumspor, Kayserispor, and Sivasspor could win their matches, there should be a very challenging fight in the midsection and the teams that wants to win. So Trabzonspor lately looking good. We have to give them kudos to Trabzonspor. So pretty much Week 25, the Derby match, as you know, there was, I'm not going to get into that name-calling thing. And we saw that, and the Turkish Football Federation decided to give 4-match suspension to special one, Mourinho. And Galatasaray coach Okan Buruk also got one match suspension. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to tell you guys who's right, who's wrong. One thing, I think at the press conference, Joseph Mourinho shouldn't use that word. He should have just said they were jumping up and down. He did not have to say that word to a bench or to Okan Buruk. In that case, that Turkish Football Federation on Thursday decided to give Mourinho a 4-match ban. So he will not be on the bench because he served his first one against Gaziantep in the cup game on Thursday. So he will be out for like 3 weeks. He will not be on the sideline. Okan Buruk will miss this weekend's match on the sideline too. So the world media talked about this hectic thing that happened in the Derby match. Instead of talking about the football on the pitch, we're talking outside of pitch. Things happening. What's happening today, I think Fenerbahçe club and also Mourinho is taking Fenerbahçe to court. We'll see what happens with that. But it's the team officials, and I've been saying this many, many times on my podcast. Team officials and team coaches keeps talking like this. We are going to see more stuff. And one other thing about the Week 25, first time in 55 years, Turkish Super League, Turkish football had a foreign referee from Slovakia. Vincenzo. He repped good game, if you ask me. He had a couple of mistakes, but I think overall he controlled the game. And the players did not argue with the referee so much. So after the week 25, the cup games played on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I can tell you one thing: Galatasaray is very lucky to advance to quarterfinals because Başakşehir had the same points because they advanced because of the yellow cards and red cards. Başakşehir had their yellow cards and red cards, and Galatasaray didn't have it. And Trabzonspor, Fenerbahçe, and Beşiktaş will be top seeded, and İskenderunspor, Galatasaray, and Bodrumspor, Göztepe will be unseeded. The draw will be happening in the Turkish Cup quarterfinals on March 6th, and most likely Galatasaray will play against either Trabzonspor or Fenerbahçe or Beşiktaş. So there will be another derby coming up for Galatasaray. They will be away team. They are not seeded in the Turkish Cup, and they are very lucky to go to our next round. And I think on the sideline, Okan Buruk was so happy. He was showing the match that was going on at the same time they were playing, Eyüpspor Başakşehir match. He was telling his players and making gesture 0-0. I think that was something that was not okay by a lot of Galatasaray fans, and when they saw that. So the way that Galatasaray played against Konyaspor, as I said, they're not looking good. Let's hope they change that around. The gap on top right now is 6 points. Galatasaray with 64, Fenerbahçe with 58. So week 26 will start on Saturday, which is tomorrow. Saturday will be having two matches. Adana Demirspor. Oh, one other thing. Adana Demirspor were fined by FIFA. They will have 6-point deduction according to the FIFA because of the transfers they did in the recent season or past season. So they have a -3 points right now, and they will host Bodrumspor, who has 23 points. Look for Bodrumspor to at least get a point or a tie. Beşiktaş will be at home against Kayserispor, but this is a huge match. Beşiktaş, if they win this match, they're going to be very close to third place. And Kayserispor, who has 24 points, they need desperately points to get out of the relegation zone. On Sunday, there are 3 matches. Rizespor will be at home against Alanya. Rizespor with 30 points, Alanyaspor with 31 points. So this is fight for points, this match. Kasımpaşa will host Galatasaray, the top team in the Turkish Super League, on Sunday. Fenerbahçe will also play on Sunday at home, and Fenerbahçe will host Antalyaspor, and Antalyaspor is coached by Emre Belözoğlu. Antalyaspor with 30 points, and Fenerbahçe with 58 points. Monday, there are 4 matches. Konyaspor will host Trabzonspor, Konyaspor with 25, and Trabzonspor with 32. Gaziantepspor will be at home against Eyüpspor, and Başakşehir will be hosting Sivasspor. And last match in the Turkish Super League on Monday, Göztepe will host Samsunspor. So Göztepe been pretty good in playing at home, but Samsunspor, after losing their match in the week 25, they probably want to get at least a point here. Hatayspor, the team who has only 13 points, looks like Adana Demirspor and Hatayspor pretty much is done in the Turkish Super League, if you ask me. So week 26 will start on Saturday. It'll end on Monday. Now, talk about what Fenerbahçe and Galatasaray will have in the next 5-6 matches. Fenerbahçe will have bye in the week 27, and Galatasaray will have a bye in week 30. So Galatasaray have a lot of away matches. Fenerbahçe is the only team that represents Turkey in the Europa League competition, and they will play against Scotch team Glasgow Rangers on March 6th on Thursday. So Fenerbahçe is the only team that represents Turkey in the European competition. The first match will be happening in Istanbul on March 6th. Good luck to them, but I think this race, with the gap on top, 6 points, looking at Galatasaray and Fenerbahçe's matches, they have a tough road on the go. Until week 30, if the gap closes down to 3, the things will be very hard for Galatasaray after week 30. The next 8 weeks for Galatasaray could be very, very difficult in this title chase. My name is Ahmet Turgut. Listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. See ya. Bye-bye.